dream constantly of something more. I don't know exactly what, but something. Ordinary days, I just feel like something's missing. But I look around the things nearby, like nature, like the bugs that live at my feet, or the birds that fly from tree to tree and sing their morning greetings from the highest branch. Every single day is a routine for them. I always kind of wonder, do they ever sit and wonder what the meaning of life is, or is that just a human trait? People are funny, I think. So it's been since February that I've been home now. February, March, April, May, June, July. Almost 6 months. 5.5 about. It's kind of crazy. Still don't understand everything that happened. It's weird. Because I came home so abruptly, I oftentimes wonder if the things that happened really did happen, or if they're just a figment of my imagination. Except I have pictures. And I guess the pictures remind me that there's more than just memories that go in this place. But still, I don't know. It's still like a dream when I start talking to people about last year. I don't think of last year as in, the year I was abroad, but the year before I was abroad, as if last year never even really happened, as if I never went abroad, as if I've been here the entire time. It's crazy. None of the people, except perhaps one, that I met while I was abroad ever write me. So, I have the friends from the year before, but I don't have the friends I met while I was there. It's so strange. I don't know how to explain it to anyone. So this is my last year. One would hope that, at least. I don't want to stay here much longer. Flagstaff is a great town and all. The best in Arizona, in fact. But I don't want to live here the rest of my life. This isn't for me. I keep dreaming of something more. Maybe I've just been brainwashed by Hollywood. Stupid Hollywood movies. Girl always finds her lover and they all live happily ever after. It's ridiculous. That never happens. Happily ever after doesn't exist. And life goes on. Sometimes I really hate being young. I mean, I can't conceive being old. It's kind of scary looking out at the future and not knowing what's going to happen. I have a lot of friends who are graduating, who've already graduated. They're looking for jobs. The world's scary, let's just face it. But I don't know. I have to keep believing there's a reason I was put here on earth. And I admit my faith has been shaken. Not my faith in God. I'm convinced that God exists and that He's doing something for me, and I don't know why. Because I don't think I'm all that important. But He keeps protecting me from things. For some reason or another. I have to be careful, though. In my insanity, I often tend to take these things overboard. But there's more than meets the eye. I haven't gone to church for several weeks. I got frustrated with the way we went up. We're always, standing up and sitting down at the command of the preacher. How it was all mechanical. We were like robots. I looked around and there was hardly any passion. And it was weird what happened to me, I guess. Because I started out so happy. And then there was communion. And I saw everybody just going over there, and all of a sudden I started shaking and crying. And I sat down and bowed my head and simply prayed. I don't remember exactly what I prayed, but I couldn't go up there. It was like there was this force inside me, in my head saying, don't go, they're just trying to control you. And I've been trained to believe that's the voice of the evil one. Maybe it is. Still on this journey of discovery, I suppose. I have to question things in hopes that eventually I'll be led to the truth. What really is the truth? I was talking to a friend the other day. She was convinced she knew exactly what life was all about. And she gave me this long explanation about how we were all divine and how there was a God and we each had our own angels and stuff like this. And she was confident. She's like, this is what life is about. And so I just sat there and thought, well, maybe. I won't tell you you're wrong, but what if that's not exactly what life is about? I always wonder, because I know so many people who don't even think about these things. They just kind of, float along like little, I don't know, they're their own robots, I guess. Just do things, follow the rules, to do what you need to do to get into a certain place, to attain a certain status, to achieve a certain goal. The end being what? I don't know. Guess most of them just say, well, maybe there is a God and maybe there isn't. But if there is a God, He'd want me to do the right thing. And so if I'm just a good person, then I'll get to heaven. A Christian way of thinking is that it's not about good works at all. In fact, it's completely the opposite. It's all about grace, and humans are innately sinful. There's no possible way we can do enough. There's no possible way to be perfect as our Father in heaven is perfect. So therefore, salvation is a gift. Because God wants to have a relationship with us. Oh, but then we get into that whole spiel about, well, if it's grace, if it's a gift, then does that mean that you can simply do whatever you want? And that it doesn't even really matter that, you can go get drunk and have sex with a whole bunch of partners and, maybe go on a killing spree one night or something. And the next day, get down on your knees and say, hey, I'm sorry, God, I'll change, and do the same thing again, just like a cycle, like that. But then again, Jesus said, go and sin no more. So, salvation is a free gift. Once we accept that gift, we're supposed to stop sinning. But then it's not us, it's the Spirit living in us. So we're worthless? But no, we're not worthless. Because we were bought with a price. So if we were bought with a price, then we're very important. We're worth something. When Dane and I were sitting there and talking about spiritual issues, as we often do, oftentimes just butt heads, and I don't know, I usually get kind of angry. Offended, I guess, is more the word. But what's the point? So we butt heads. And one day she brought up the issue of hell. And I blew the coop. Of course, I hadn't taken my medicine in a few days. And I guess the medicine's working because I feel normal. Anyway, I hadn't taken my medicine for a few days, so I kind of flew the coop and went upstairs and got really angry, and then I said, okay, I'm not mad at you, but I gotta go for a walk and think, because you've just triggered the thing inside me that I'm living for. My reason for being. You've just shaken it at its very foundation. So I gotta go for a walk. So, I went to the church. And I talked to the lady who works there. I can't even remember her name. So terrible. Dusty. Dusty's the name of the guy that works at Macy's. I have to remember that name. Side note, just spinning off what's in my head into words. Anyway. So I went to the church and I told her everything. The lady at the church, I told her how I got into this huge debate with my best friend. How it was essentially about hell and the spiritual experience. Why would a loving God send his own creation to hell? And what's so unique about the Christian experience when people of other faiths have the same experience? I had no answer. Absolutely none. And the church didn't have an answer. She basically said, this is your journey. Everyone's is different. Everyone's relationship with God is different. I can't tell you what to believe in this area. You have to discover that on your own. What kind of an answer is that, really? Well, in fact, it's a very wise answer. Because every journey is unique. And boy, if it weren't unique, we'd be boring each other with our stories. We'd be sitting there and saying, okay, one of my favorite fantasies, I guess, is being in heaven, sitting with all my friends, while sitting there, enjoying the beauty, this wonderful place, soaking in the peace and the love. And we meet each other at last. After years and years of following our own paths on earth, we see all these people that we hadn't seen in years, and we're finally together in heaven. And we come up to each other, and we start recounting our journeys. And each one is so unique and beautiful. were left in tears about how we almost died, but yet how God lifted us up and carried us to a place of utter peace and beauty and love. And in the end, when our bodies were just too tired and too worn out to go on, our spirits left them, and they all joined each other up in heaven, and we just sat there with new bodies, smiling, hugging each other, greeting each other as we saw each other's face with tears of joy, and simply saying all the wonderful things that we saw, all the pieces of heaven that we saw on earth. There is beauty here. Sometimes it's hard to find. I hate myself sometimes. I know that you should never say that about yourself, but I do, because I think these horrible thoughts in my head, and then I think, where did that thought come from? If this thought were to surface into words or actions, somebody would be hurt. And I can't deal with someone being hurt because of me. I don't even like the idea of someone being hurt because of anything. I try and understand. When I was in France, we were at Carcassonne, in the museum, and without the torture devices, it made me sick. Sebastian kept trying to make me laugh, but it took everything out of me. All the romance, everything was gone. These torture devices were inhuman, yet they were created by humans, and the creators knew that were these torture devices used on them, it would be ruthless and horrible imaginations these people had. What I don't understand is how they could wish that on someone else. They know that on themselves it would be excruciating. It's foolish. Myself, I think I've been living in my own world. I forget oftentimes that everyone else is living their own lives. I get so caught up in just thinking about me. I'm so selfish. This isn't really what I want. The me, I, is not that important. So why do I live as if it is? Why do I live to please myself? It's like I'm trapped. A desire to do good. no actions towards it. It's not in my whole being. Who am I? I tell you, the day I discover who I am would be a great day of celebration. But it's like the moment I think I know, I find out something completely new. Somebody will say, Clara, hey, did you know you sometimes, have a habit of, I don't know, smacking your lips for no apparent reason? No. You don't notice everything. And there are people who annoy me. And that annoys me that they annoy me more, thinking that, is it possible that I could be on the other end for somebody else? That annoying, clingy leech that hooks on to somebody and sucks out all their energy and they just, want to push me away. Or do anything just to kind of try and avoid me. People that actually think that about me, sheesh. I don't know. If there are, they definitely don't say anything, and I wish they would. And people are so stupid. They would rather talk about what annoys them about somebody to somebody else than actually confront that person. They know that they should do the other thing. That they should go straight forward to that person and tell them exactly what they did that offended them so that they can maybe better themselves. But instead they prefer to talk about the gossip, if you will. So stupid. I'll find the answers. I won't give up. I miss my friends from abroad. For some reason, I imagine I'll see them again. And if I had it my way, I would go there, business or pleasure, doesn't really matter. We'll have not seen or written to each other for a long time. And one day we'll just be sitting in a cafe or shopping in a market. And I'll hear one of their voices. And I'll turn around. And it will be the most incredible reunion ever. And we'll catch up on all the things that we've missed out on through the years. We'll meet each other's families. And I don't know. I guess maybe it's like this heaven scenario. Maybe we won't see each other here on earth, but maybe we'll see each other there and just be embracing each other, tears in our eyes, telling everything. Oh, that would be so wonderful. Oh, there has to be a heaven. Could I have dreamed of it all my life, only to die and find out that it doesn't exist? It can't be. There's more. Why else would we be longing for it so much?